my name's Rich, and today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on After Effects on how to color correct and make your piece look good. So this is how you import a clip into After Effects, for people that don't know. And then to make a new comp, simply drag the file from the project into there. And then, well, yeah, this is the clip from the second tutorial. And so yeah, let's make an adjustment layer, go into Lux, and go on the Lux Builder. So yeah, basically, in terms of color correcting, one of the main ideas is your personal preference. So a lot of this is what I like. A lot of it is also standard to what you would see nowadays. So stuff like color curves you would always see, which I'm using right now. Yeah, so to be honest, I don't really need to explain this through too much. I mean, you just watch what's going on. I'm changing a bit of red, a bit of blue, then I'm desaturating it a notch, about 80% on highlights and everything. And yeah, that's about it really. I mean, I'm gonna add this light flex, which looks pretty nice. I don't know, set it about a bit. See, it sort of changes in that corner. And then, because it doesn't look as subtle as you think, but when we're gonna put the crop on, which you saw at the preview, yeah, that's pretty much gonna look fine. I don't know quite what I'm deciding here, but I think it'll fit well. This gradient. Sometimes you just want to do a couple of things with your project, or with your clip, or whatever, just to make it stand out, perhaps. And this is one of them things. So yeah, you can change it about a bit. Again, this is all personal preference, so to be honest, you don't have to follow any of this at all. I mean, another piece of like industry standards is VidNet, or whatever you want to call it. A lot of people seem to use that, although I kind of use it pretty weak, so I'll expand it a bit and make the strength weaker. But you can see it fits pretty well. I'm going to add grad exposure here, so you know the top half where the sky is going to stand out a lot more. And I think that's about it for the camera, and now onto post-production. Colorista. There is a separate tool called Magic Bullet Colorista, which is normally very good, but I think this is just as fine. So again, adjusting to my preference. I think it looks kind of good for this, because as you can see it's a sort of desert environment, so you want it to stand out a bit. You can see the grass or the green and that surrounding stands out a lot more with Colorista on. And then I think, I'm not sure, thinking of taking the gradient off. Yeah, I'm going to take the gradient off. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I might add some curves now, just to tone it up finally. Yeah, just make the green stand out a bit more. I don't know why. Or no, I'm not going to do that at all. Let's reset that. Stick it up a bit, perhaps. Yeah. Maybe do blue as well. Yeah, that seems good. Before and after. Yeah, that looks great. So yeah, that's us finished. You can see before and after there when you flick through, when Magic Bullet Lux applies. And I'm actually going to add another effect called Mojo, which again is from Red Giant Software. I'm going to put the punch down because all that sort of stuff I did with the curves. And then I'm going to adjust the balance a bit so it fits. You can see before and after there. It sort of gives it this, I don't know, it makes the shadows look really good most of the time. That's why I tend to use it. Turn it down a bit like I have. Seems to work pretty well. And then I think the final effect, I'm going to use a photo filter. Don't know why, but I don't know, sometimes it works really well. So I'm just going to, you can see some of the filters here we got. So just look through them. I think the opacity, you want to turn it down a bit so it doesn't stand out too much. So I'm going to use about 10%. So you can see before and after, just gives it that little hint of blue. Let's make another adjustment layer and add some sort of flare or glow or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to use optical flares from Video Copilot. Set it to over original so it's transparent. And then we're going to play around with some of the settings. Now, this preset I'm going to use comes with Video Copilot in the light section. I'm going to use Real Sun, stick up the glow a bit, and then we're going to go into lens objects, add a lens orb. Again, this is all to my sort of preference. I like this sort of stuff. Just turn the brightness down and scale it down a bit. And hit OK, so you can see it looks pretty nice. And make sure you put the adjustment layer, like, when you see the layers on the timeline, make sure it is underneath the colour correction. Because it might, it might look a bit odd. Say, it might stand out a bit too much, or it might not blend in well. Stuff like that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I say we should add a Trapcode shine layer, so we'll make another adjustment layer. Go on to Trapcode and shine. And it looks kind of shit at the moment, but we'll add it. No, we're not. Yeah, let's put this to about 35. Still a bit strong, but stick it. What you want to do is drag that, which is the source point, put it roughly where the light is and just a bit above it, so it sort of flashes down. I think, yeah, setting it to screen looks pretty well. Let's put it a bit closer to the source point. There we go. So that looks pretty nice. It's got that real sort of desert feeling to it. That sort of powerful glow, that sort of stuff. I think we'll mess around with it a bit more though. It's not done much, has it? That looks nice. What I normally tend to do here is just flick through between all this, so yeah, this is again to preference. I'm sure you get used to this in colour correcting, you'll pick what you like. I like to do that quite often, just turn it on and off, see what's going on really. So yeah, I think that's nice. Just go before and after. Yeah, that looks pretty nice. So change some of the shimmer so you can make it looks pretty nice. And then we'll, yeah, I think we'll make it stand out a bit more, not too much. Yeah. So as you can see, that looks pretty nice so far. I think we should. Yeah, I think it might be time to make the crop perhaps. Let's just look at this before and after. You can see here. See, that's pretty nice. Like before and after. I think we should make the crop now. So Control Y for a new solid. Hit OK and hit S for scale. And then untick that. That way it doesn't change together. We'll set that to about 10. Again, yet again, the crop is a preference. So if you like no crop at all, by all means, don't use a crop. But if you like the crop like I do, then feel free to use a crop, of course. Because some people, I don't know, some people really like it, and some people think it's not that nice. But anyway, if you're a bit of a perfectionist like me, you're gonna do this the retarded way and just not even look at how well it's zooming in, just do it to the perfect line. So just adjust this a bit. So yeah, that's about right. Yeah, that seems right. So that's done. Okay, so yeah, that's wow. Oh, there we go. So yeah, that's it so far. That looks pretty nice. I'm not quite sure what we should do now. Yeah, I think it's time to keyframe the optical flare, so we'll solo both the layers. Hit the keyframe stopwatch, go to about a second. Now consider like the fact that it's the sky, so for starters it doesn't move so much as you might think. Just consider it's very out in the horizon, so it's not going to move too far. And also, it might not look good when it's soloed, but when it's color graded or color corrected finally, just unsolo it, it'll probably look a lot better than you think. I mean, the main element here I want is the lens orbs, or the sort of, see all the circles? I want that to sort of remain sort of accurate, so not too many come on at one point. You can see there's far too many and the light, so I'm going to move it to the left again. So, yep, that works pretty well by the looks of it. Yep, that looks great. Now, what you're going to see here is a typical example where we're going to have to not only move the light source, but also change the brightness. And the thing you want to do here is you don't want to completely turn it off, because that will not look as realistic. Because you might be able to still see the lens orbs when, obviously, you can't in the camera. So say when it's sort of disappearing there, but you can still see the lens orbs like so. You still want to fade it a bit, but not too much. So I'm gonna hit the stopwatch and brightness. That works pretty well. And what I'm actually gonna do here is kind of cheat. So because you can't see the flare, I'm just gonna make an extra keyframe, go a frame forward to where we might see the light again, and set it to a completely different direction, and set the light back on 100. So it doesn't look as strong once this tracked piece Isaac made is gone, but it still stands out pretty well. I think it looks really nice. And we'll just make sure the brightness is set to 0, and yep. So just the final bit of keyframing now, and position movement. So I think that looks pretty nice. Let's just unsolo this. Yeah, that looks real good. And also you can see here with the shine layer, you can see the shimmer, you can really see it, it stands out really nice. So like the little gap made in the logo that Will did is, you know, it really stands out, the gap. So it looks really realistic. And it fits in pretty well. So what to do next? I think it's normally best to double check everything, but I think it's time to add something new. Yeah, let's add some motion blur. Don't know, it's against preference. I use this because it's kind of subtle, 0.35 on blur amount and 45% on the sensitivity. This is real smart motion blur, and a lot of these tools are normally common to find when editing now, especially in YouTube. I've noticed quite a lot of people seem to use it now. Yeah. Now, I'm going to be making some blur on the top, so what you're going to do is make a ramp on a separate solid, and you'll see here, you want to change that, I believe. Then what you want to do, because we want to blur the top, not so it's, because the black is where it's not blurred and the white is where it is. So we're going to move that so there's quite a bit unblurred and then the top's blurred only. So we'll just adjust this a bit. Again, this is all to preference, you'll get very used to that. So what you want to do is make a pre-comp, tick, add all attributes to this new composition, which is the middle box, or the middle button thing. And now what we're going to add is Frischluft depth of field. I think Isaac was using the Frischluft set in the previous tut. Oh great. I've actually made the comp the wrong way around, so for future use it's the other way around. So the bottom is white and the top is black. And there, as you can see, it's pretty nice blur. I just got to move the crop so it's not blurred directly, because there's like the top layer that you'd normally have. So that's not blurred, and that stands out really well now. So the sort of light source is a little blurred, stuff like that, it looks really nice. So just before we move on, I'm going to keyframe the light source in Trapcode Shine. There's actually not much to be done here, we just want to sort of move it a little bit, so a little bit at the top with the optical flare. We don't have to do too much, and also the shimmer will look more realistic when we keyframe it about a bit. So this looks pretty nice, as you can see. The track's pretty good that Isaac's done here. Yeah, I think it fits pretty well. And then the motion blur as well, with the whole composition, works really well. And then, yep, the shimmer comes out, and that's about it really. So, yep, I'm not sure what to do next. I'm sort of doing this as we go along, as you can probably tell. So, I think we'll shift select all this, and we'll put it into a own composition by pre-composing it. And so we made that. I'm actually going to add some wiggle or aftershade. So we're going to set this to about 102, 105. It's good to add a bit of scale. Then we're going to apply a animation preset here. And this is from Video Copilot, the one I'm going to use. So we're going to have to go down to Video Copilot presets. Just got to find it. There it is. English, aftershade. And we're going to use aftershade footage, not null or pro or any of that, because we're not using the null object. I'm going to set it relatively low, stuff like the speed's really low, the amount to about 22, and the rotation you might want to ramp up a bit. So, yep, that looks really nice now. So, just, you got to be careful in case the edges go a bit off, or stuff like that, so if that happens, scale it up a bit, or add more rotation. Normally works. So, let's add a new adjustment layer, and this is going to be our sharpen layer. It's one of the very last things you do. So we're going to set this about 10 or 12 or stuff like that, so that's quite a good difference. Then we'll just put that underneath, so it doesn't sort of sharpen the solid a bit. And now we're going to add this to the render queue. So I'm going to show you some render settings, which are pretty good, because obviously if we render in lossless and upload straight to YouTube, you're not going to get very far. So we're going to go to H.264, we're going to use the high profile, level 5.1, VBR 1 pass, at about total 20, maximum 25. Or like target bit rate, and then if you want audio, remember to tick it as well, because by default for some reason it's unticked. So we're going to set this to about 44.1, and we're going to change some of the options. So you want to put the bit rate to 320, and yeah, that seems great. So we'll hit OK, and then you're going to change your destination or whatever you're going to do, and you're going to hit render. And for rendering, you want to hold the caps lock so it renders quicker. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy.